another episode of the Empowerment Minutes podcast. This is your host, Dr. Maurine Kwende. Once again, welcome to the Empowerment Minutes podcast. This is a podcast that empowers leaders with practical tools, bold inspiration, and strategies on learning, leadership coaching, and personal growth to help you thrive in the workplace and in life. So, I am Dr. Maurine Kwende. I am your host again. I help leaders and organizations become leaders who want to work for through executive leadership coaching, speaking, facilitation, an educator and author, learning leader, CEO and founder of EMK Learning Solutions. And I will be excited to support you too. So every month we pick a theme. And so the theme of this month is conscious leadership, leading with heart set in the age of AI. Last week's episode, we talked about the paradox of control, letting go and leading with heart set in the age of AI. This week, we're getting into even more a deeper topic, and it's called the human algorithm, leading with emotional intelligence in a digital world. So let's get started. Technology has made us more connected than before, right? If you go out there, you'd see every child, on their devices, they're on one technology platform and the other, any social platform as a result of technology. So we're even more connected than we were a few years ago. However, people still feel very disconnected, Think about how AI has made things easier with meetings. It helps us summarize meetings. I do that with my Zoom account. It summarizes your meetings, highlights themes. Right, so it's automating tasks that normally an administrative assistant would have done. But now it does that and summarize those meetings. It can draft reports for me and even predict employee turnover. You can use AI to do those kind of things. Analyzing survey data and identifying themes that can be used across the board. Now, even though this sounds exciting, AI still cannot replace understanding. It cannot replace compassion. It cannot replace trust, right? So we've entered this era where leadership isn't just about technical intelligence. It's also, or highlights emotional intelligence more than ever before. Emotional intelligence is an oxymoron. You think about it, emotional and intelligence typically do not go together. But we need emotional intelligence, right? So there's emotional intelligence. There is artificial intelligence, okay? So while machines can process data for artificial intelligence, with emotional intelligence, only humans can process meaning. So this tells us that when we think of conscious leadership in the digital age, we want to ask ourselves this question. Are you leading with data only? Are you tuning into your emotions and energy behind the data? This question determines whether you're truly leading or simply processing information. So what does emotional intelligence look like in a digital world? Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is really a strategic advantage. It helps you, especially when the screen is separating us, like from the digital devices, because it's at the core of the heart set. How can this human algorithm show up in a digital leadership? Well, human algorithm, which refers to emotional intelligence, you can look at the 4 different components of emotional intelligence. And the number one is self-awareness, where you're having that reflection, right? Having time, it's like assessing your own self, holding a mirror in front of you, like recognizing what are your emotions, and when you're even overwhelmed or frustrated, how do you respond? Do you pause? Do you react? A conscious leader, a leader with emotional intelligence, chooses to pause. Okay. Empathy is another area to look at, and that's really that of social awareness, which is under emotional intelligence. How are you leveraging that information as a leader? You got to read in between the lines, right? AI can flag alone well, let me say this. AI can flag the tone, but only you can sense intention or any unspoken words. All right. So recently, I had one of my leaders who was just really flustered and going through a lot. But he needed that human connection, and so someone to connect with him. So what we're talking about is that AI, even though it's good, it doesn't replace the human aspect of us. AI can automate tasks, right? Thereby highlighting the benefit of adaptability, which is true, right? But a conscious leader doesn't resist the change. They just reimagine where their energy belongs. They invest their time in people, not processes. Now, the leader is also to understand the people that they work with. Okay. There is now this fear of people thinking, oh, I'm going to be replaced by technology. And then, I will not have a job in the future. Even though some positions are being replaced, empathy can never be replaced. Okay? Can never be replaced. The fourth area is that of relationship management. With emotional intelligence, you have to be, as a leader, walk through emotions, navigate challenges, right? And that takes a whole degree of emotional intelligence. So the hard work of building trust, even when collaboration happens entirely through a screen, is just what emotional intelligence can do for you. So what can AI do then, right? It can actually augment some of those automated tasks. It can continue to do that, amplify those connections. Able to balancing AI insights with human intuition. That means that looking at the future of leadership, it's not just looking like a human versus machine. It's actually human and machine, or with machine. AI can produce insights faster than ever, but emotional intelligence is staying in this lane. It helps us as human beings interpret and apply those insights responsibly. What about this example? You are maybe an AI co-pilot that predicts a project team would be at its high risk of burnout. A purely metric-driven leader might simply reduce workload, but a conscious leader doesn't stop there. They start with making those human connections. How are you feeling about the praise right now? What would truly help you the most this week? So that is human algorithm, right? Identifying or having that pattern of compassion, listening and understanding that no software can replace. So as we usually say, AI gives us the numbers, but also emotional intelligence gives us the narrative. So here's my challenge for you this week. With every episode, there's a challenge. Here's a challenge for you this week, okay? Choose one digital interaction. It could be email, chat, whatever, virtual meeting, and lead it through emotional intelligence. Before you respond or react, take a conscious break and ask yourself 2 questions. What emotion might be driving this message? How can I respond with empathy instead of merely efficiency? That's not just how AI would do it. You're leading alongside it, consciously, compassionately. All right? So I want to thank you for tuning into this week's episode. And next week, we're going to be talking about ethics, using AI to reflect and correct your leadership bias. Until then, keep leading with awareness, empathy, courage, and relationship management. Because the future of leadership is human. All right? Thank you so much. I would like to wish you a wonderful day. See you same time next week.